Well, we're back here with another Coach's Corner. Head coach Steve Johnson, Championship Week Part 2 coach. So let's start it with Part 1 and an exciting 30-27 victory at Augsburg. Talk about a back-and-forth football game. Although Bethel never trailed, 3 ties back and forth. Both teams, I mean, we talked about it after the game, making big plays, big catches, some defensive stops here and there. Just kind of take us through that exciting win.
A little too exciting, but, hats off to Augsburg. They played great. They had... they're ready to go. They're playing for a championship. As the things work, they're playing to go to a championship game and then a divisional championship. And they made a series of kind of miraculous plays, and they were set up a little bit, but we didn't tackle very well. So they kind of make these plays, and it gets them more excited than they already were, and we're kind of like and so those things happen, and it happens in football. I remember all the years where we've had some championship things. There's been some things where you had to weather that storm, or it's just not going to be. And so fortunately, we made a play at the end. Devin Williams made a great play to fix that. But I was really proud of our guys just staying in the fight, and defensively we kind of sometimes you want to work on calls and all these things. We had to tackle better, and we let their guy have Sheehan just played a great game and had he just had some lanes to not only run through but also get away and be free to throw. And so they made a lot of plays. We made the one at the end that was big and housed it. When I'm across the field not seeing it, when I found out who had it, I was pretty excited because Devin's really fast. If it was a linebacker, I'd be having to pray him over into the other end zone. Not that we had to have that, but there's a lot of difference that, if they get the onside, there's so many different things. So every football game is great. There's one thing where I thought of, there's been some games where I've had people tell me, and we lost, and I've had people say, oh man, that was the greatest game to watch. That was great. So I heard that about this one, but we won it, so I can at least not feel so bad. Yeah. So. But it was a great game, and hats off to the Augies, the way they played, and we saw them growing in the year, and they've done a nice job with the program. But really proud of our guys hanging in, our running backs, and especially our offensive line. We've been protecting Jaron like crazy, but we hadn't really put on the display of running that we did, and Kunkel and Jeebly just they were the recipients, but also they're really good running backs.
Yeah, well, on the defensive side of the ball, you talked about Williams' big play. Obviously, for a freshman to get that interception in the end zone and then have the ability and the knowledge to, in his mind, as he's told us, I need to return this so that we have that 3-point cushion, to be able to prepare for something like that. Should you not get the onside kick, knowing their kicker has had some success from distance this year, to see that play. And then, you think of the first interception of that game with Anthony Hockett intercepting it in the end zone. Augsburg 2nd and 10 from the 17th. They kind of march down the field, use a big play where they get a catch off of the defender's back. And so for the defense to step up in that second half and make 2 really big plays to put you guys in a position to win football games like that and allow your offense to go to work, got to be good going into this weekend.
Yeah, it was great. It's kind of a weird game. We haven't punted much in the month of October or anything like that, so nobody's punting. Everybody's kind of going. But it was a shorter game. There weren't very many possessions, so you had to be. So it's kind of a pressure-filled game, and I'm not sure that's a bad thing at this stage to be in a game like that. And so you've got to just take whatever it is, and you walk that way. But you brought up Anthony Hockett, who's been a guy who's been with our program for a long time, and he's like my age now, I think. But he made a great play, and we've had some corners that have been injured, and they're coming back kind of this weekend, but they weren't back yet, and so Anthony had to move positions from a safety spot and play corner, and he had a great game and had a key interception, but also a lot of really good plays, and he's a leader, and so it was really. There's a lot of great things to be gratified about, but a little tense on the old ticker.
Well, it's funny we talk about that, right? That was the fourth game this year that was decided by 7 points or less. Third, that was by 3 points. This team hasn't been in that position before. Actually, no team in the recent history has been part of it. You have to go back to 2012 to see that many number of games decided within that time frame. On the offensive side of the ball, though, obviously Jaron Rossi gets injured in the first half. You have to have George Bolt come out, but then your running backs step up big, and your O-line paved the way for a couple rushing touchdowns that kind of keep you in the game. One, talk about those adjustments you had to make. Two, and then maybe just give a quick update status on Jaron for this week.
Well, I think the thing I go to there is you bring in George, and man, he managed the game well.
Yep.
But because we had some stuff that, oh, George, we gotta throw this and throw, you know, because they were just piling in for the run.
Yep.
And George was saying, hey, we got to do what's winning. You know what I mean? Because but he has really come a long way, and he just led us. And there wasn't even. I had 3 different people this week say I didn't even know George was in the game, and that's a neat compliment to him. And he's doing a great job. So that was great, along with the running game and being able to handle that. And we know what we can do on those different things, and we really want to have an offense that can take advantage of. If you're stacking up on the run, we're throwing it. We're throwing, you know, and we've got enough weapons, and that's a cool thing. But he did a great job managing that game and winning that game. A little bit like that first game,
right? When
Jaron came out after the 4th play, we went on to beat PLU, and that was George. And you know, so he's really had a chance to grow, and we've been in tight games, and it was really gratifying that way. Jaron is probable. For this week, it's going to be a pain issue.
Sure.
You know, I don't know how long he can go. You know, it's kind of one of those wild horses when take you away from just a big game, and not. I don't mean that in a crabby way, in a fun way, man.
Right.
He gets to play for a championship of our league, and that's first. And then right to go to the playoff, maybe a home game. All those different things are wrapped in there. But the biggest motivator is that we want to keep being together like this, because we got a cause. We got a bunch of guys that love each other, and it's an amazing, it's exhausting and phenomenal at the same time.
Right.
And so, you know, we just want to stay together in this way as long as we possibly can. And you know, we're, you know, number 5 and 9 in the country, and you know, top 10 matchup is pretty cool, and a privilege to be in.
Yeah, I mean, it arguably will be one of the top watched football games this week throughout D3 football, and obviously for good reason, right? You know, these are 2 teams that have gone at it the last couple of years. You guys had St. John's number here early in the year, and just a fantastic football game, 28-24, here at home with big plays on both sides of the ball. This time you have to go on the road, but Collegeville is not a bad place to play a football game. A little bit of a hostile environment sometimes, but you know, your guys have been in this position before and got to be ready for the test, obviously, knowing that, you know, a conference championship and an automatic bid, you kind of set yourself so you don't have to worry about Sunday, where are we going, right? Are we getting in at one of those 5 at-large bids? Where are we going? You kind of put it in your own hands, and then you just kind of let the rest play out. Yeah,
I think, you know, that's obvious, and, you know, we have to stay. There's all the things to look for. We've talked about it all week. We have to care for some of those things that might concern us, like now in practice, and get those things done so we can be free to run on Saturday. And so we just want to just play as hard as we can, play fast, free, and physical. We talk about the 3 F's, fast, free, and physical. That's not real good spelling, but you can figure it out. And that those things kind of, they feed each other. And so we just want to play to our standard the best game that we possibly can. Where it's at, it doesn't make that much difference. Obviously, you'd rather be at home, and but again, you're right. St. John's is really a fun place to play, and it'll be a big crowd and noisy and probably immature.
Well, that's guaranteed. Big crowd there at St. John's. Don't forget, you can get your tickets at gojohnnies.com or visit bethelroyals.com. Check out the football schedule link. That'll send you to get tickets. It's going to be a 1 o'clock kickoff, 30 degrees, not too bad, but you know, it's November football, and you can't ask for much better coverage there. So, Coach, good luck. We'll wish you the best. It'll be a fun football game.
Can't wait.